There are so many ideas for discussion in this rich, wonderful story about friendship and growing up, Manatee Summer. So let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Mary Wilson. I teach an online book club for kids through Outschool, and this was the April title for my 11 to 13-year-old group. Our focus for that month, I pick a different literary kind of focus each month to make sure we're hitting a variety of literary devices and plot elements, and our focus was theme. And I picked theme because I thought this book in particular had a theme that would be really straightforward for the kids. There are more themes, obviously, good literature has many themes, but I wanted one that I thought they would be able to grasp really easily. Of course, they blew me away with their grasp of themes in this book, but it is just so well written and there's so much going on with the main character that I think that just worked out really well. So I always like to give you at least 3 ideas to discuss this book with your kids. Um, I could go on for a long time, but I won't. First, I would talk about the opening. I love to talk about the opening of a book with kids, the opening hook, which could be the opening chapter, the opening paragraph, the opening sentence sometimes. In this case, I would look at the entire first chapter. It's this beautiful overview of kind of what's going on with the main character, Peter, and his connection to his grandfather. Connection is a really important theme in this book. The importance of connection is. And it's about a time his grandfather maybe swam with manatees. And then I would look at this last paragraph in the chapter because I feel like it's a little bit of foreshadowing of the book and what is going to happen. It talks about a time he was knocked over by a wave and he was spinning out of control and his papa's hand grabbed him and it made everything okay. And what's going to happen in the book is his world is going to be spinning out of control. So there's so much to talk about this first chapter, including just the richness and the beauty of the language and the descriptions. And then I always ask the kids, why do you think the author started with this particular story about Papa and the manatee? And they came up with ideas like, this becomes a very important story to Peter throughout the story. He refers to Papa's story and how it keeps changing because Papa has Alzheimer's now. So introducing us to this story right away is important because it's going to be referred to. Then the beauty of the language, a little bit of the foreshadowing, and then this story is going to connect to the end. So another thing you're going to talk about when you get to the end is how the author is kind of mirroring what happened in the beginning. In the end, and I'm giving away the ending right now, so if kids are listening, you might turn it off. Not any too many details, but Peter is going to get to swim with the manatees with his best friend Tommy, and they are going to be in the water with the manatees, and then he and Tommy are going to hold hands. And it's just this beautiful mirroring of at the beginning of the book, swimming with the manatees, he and Papa were holding hands, and now he and Tommy are. So this connection, the importance of connection at the beginning, at the end, love it. Okay, what else you can talk about? Well, this is a great book. A lot is going on for the main character. So you can talk, I asked the kids, what are some of the problems that Peter is facing? He is facing the fact that he wants to help an injured manatee. He wants to help her, Zoe, the manatee. His best friend has just announced he's moving. He didn't tell Peter. He has lied about it. He hasn't wanted to talk about it. He has hidden it. And now it has come out. So his best friend is moving in like a week by the time he finds out, to another state. His grandfather is sick. He has Alzheimer's. Peter is taking on some responsibilities as a caretaker, and it is difficult. There's a discovery journal that he and Tommy have been working on. It's now going to be left unfinished. His mom is working more, so she's not as available. So there are a lot of things going on for him. So once we've kind of laid out some problems, I like to ask, okay, these are the problems like that anyone could see if they just looked at his life. What's going on beneath the surface? Like, how is he feeling? What are the problems kind of inside of Peter? That's where we talked about, like, he is struggling to handle really big emotions, which is something I really love about this book, is that we have a teen boy struggling to handle big emotions. I just feel like that we see that a lot with teen girls, and it's really great to be reminded that, hey, teen boys are struggling with big emotions at these ages as well. Um, his life is feeling out of control and he doesn't know what to do about it. So that is more of what's going on inside Peter. And we're going to watch his character development as the outside problems um, resolve in different ways and the inside problems resolve in different ways. All right. And the last thing, as I told you, that this book was all about literary element of theme. So I definitely asked the kids about theme. And what I like to do with theme is to talk to them about the fact that a theme is kind of a big lesson from a book that applies to any reader of the book. So we're looking for like a big picture lesson. And one way we can find that is we can look at things that the main character learned in the book that might also apply to our lives. So, yes, the main character learned a lot of facts about manatees, but these don't necessarily, they're truth, but they don't apply to our lives. They don't teach us how to live in a better way. They don't teach us about the world around us and our interactions in it. That's what we're looking for. So sometimes I might just give an example of a theme. So I wrote down several from the book that I could give the kids to help them kind of, and I might say, how does the book show us this? For example, life can feel overwhelming. Focus on one thing at a time. Where do we see that in the book? Where do we see Peter learning that we could defend that as a theme of this book? Here's another really interesting one I gave the book club. Even our enemies are human. We talked a lot about that and how, in particular, his neighbor, Mr. Riley, who is a villain in this book, how we start to see another side of him by the end. So I wanted the students to see that there are so many themes in good literature. We don't have to just focus on the theme of conservation and the manatee, though of course that is there too, that we need to take care of the animals around us in the world and in our environments. Some of the themes that the kids came up with, and here's a big note: when your children are trying to come up with a theme, be encouraging. Take what they give you. They're going to grow into this. They need practice. They need a safe space to do that. So, help them develop it more if it needs that. Oh, where do you see that in the book? Do you feel like that applies to your life? Some of the ones that I heard I wrote down are somebody said, love, connect, act. I thought that was so cool. Kind of like an eat, pray, love. But from this book, love, connect, act. So we talked about that. Humans need connection. That's another one a student suggested. And you could see that in that beginning and the end I've already revealed. Sometimes you need to look beyond what you can see. We talked about that one as well. So you can find statements about friendship, all kinds of things. A big thing I try to do in my book clubs is if somebody says, well, the theme is friendship, I like to follow up. Oh, yeah, this book has a lot to say about friendship. What do you think it tells us about friendship? And if they need a little more, how can you be a good friend based on this book? What do good friends do based on this book to really help them narrow down like a statement, almost like a thesis that later in life they could defend if they needed to? All right. Highly recommend this one. It was such a fun read. And I would say the majority of the students really enjoyed this story of Peter and his best friend Tommy and the manatee. All right, everyone. Any of the links that you might need are below. You can check them out. Links to book clubs, link to a more detailed review of the book on my website, and all of those great things. Thanks for being here.